Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Check, 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 check. We're live. Okay. All right. We're not gonna start yet since it's not 7:30. About a minute or so. But I just wanted to do little admin things here real quick. Just in the chat, I've added some links that talk to a couple of, I'd say, articles, as well as some videos that I'm going to talk to uh, in the stream itself. And with that, we'll be starting here shortly. I'd say here in about the next minute or so. But while we're waiting, hey, little toast. It's Friday. Having a little Dogfish 90-minute IPA. Ooh, very tasty. All right. So do join me. What I want to do is just basically answer the mail. Had someone asking about some questions about fishing Denison Dam, and well, I haven't been there yet this year, but I can give you some background, at least what I know, and then hopefully you can just kind of play it by ear there, making a run up the road here to Denison Dam here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay. All right, it's 7:30. Let's begin. I'm Glenn, Cedar Valley Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube. And this round we're talking little impromptu question and answer session about Denison Dam. It's the tail race of Texoma, Lake Texoma, just up the road here from the city of Allen where I'm located. I'd say about an hour from the Dallas-Fort Worth proper. And right now the big thing that's happening with Denison Dam is the gates open and they are releasing water, and so you're getting some pretty good action, especially once they're releasing water and whatnot. And so I just want to go and talk to Fishing Denison Dam, and hopefully that might answer some of your questions that you may have out there. All right, so let's go ahead and shift over to the first piece here. All right, so several years ago when I was putting some information together, I put this article and I posted it, several years back. Let's see. The key takeaway out of this is it's just an overview of fishing the tail race at Denison Dam. There are some changes, mainly because they did some work in the river that kind of cleared out some of the rocks, and then over the years they've made some improvements, some much needed improvements that should work well for those that want to go fish the area. Okay, so again, Denison Dam, located on the Red River across or along the Texas-Oklahoma border, is a hydroelectric power plant, a source of flood control, impounds Lake Texoma, and it is considered the tail race. It's the Red River that runs through there, and there's some key takeaways that you want to have in your back pocket. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I do want to call out a couple of items when it comes to fishing the tail race. And specifically, what you want to make sure is this Texas-Oklahoma border. Well, it turns out that you can fish with a Texas license on the Texas side, and that goes from the dam to this place called Shawnee Creek. It's the spillway, or the creek that when the spillway or the dam or the lake flows over, it spills over that spillway and goes down Shawnee Creek. And the key takeaway there is you just need a Texas license, Texas resident license. However, if you go in the water, then it's considered Oklahoma, and you'll need a Oklahoma license. So if you plan to wade, even if you're between the dam and Shawnee Creek, you do want to make sure you have the appropriate license. Okay. A lot of folks keep thinking the lake license, the Texoma license, will cover that area, the tail race. It doesn't. You do need to have an Oklahoma license if you plan to be in the river. If you stay on the bank on the Texas side, again, from the dam to Shawnee Creek, and I'll show that a little bit later here. So that's one that you want to keep in your back pocket when it comes to some of the regulations. The other one that just happened, I'd say 2-3 years ago, is you're now required to tag your stringer on the Oklahoma side. So if you're going to be fishing, you can't share stringers. You have to make sure that you have the appropriate customer number and your name on the stringer itself. And this is a rule that came out from Oklahoma, I think it was like 2-3 years back. But the big thing is this doesn't just apply to the tail race at Denison Dam. It actually applies to a lot of dams and tail races in Oklahoma. I think it's like the first 1,000 feet or so. Take a look at the regs. I know they made some changes there, but bottom line, you want to kind of keep that in your back pocket. Okay. Other things. There's some certain areas that you'll hear some of the old timers talk about. There's a parking area. There's some stairwells. There's actually 3 of them. I think there's actually 4. There's the wall, the Texas wall. There's this section that used to have a bait house, and then that got washed away several years ago, but you can still see some remnants of it where the pilings are. There is a warning cable, and you got to make sure you have that Texas freshwater license if you're going to be fishing between the warning cable to Shawnee Creek. And again, if you decide to go in the water, you make sure you have an Oklahoma fishing license. All right. Okay. So from a fishing standpoint, let me take you to Google Maps. Okay. And let's see if I can get you in closer. Okay. So on the Texas side, you'll be coming down this one road, Highway 91. There'll be a turn off right over here, and you'll come along the roadway. You know you're going the right track because it'll bend to the right and right over there toward the river. And there's some key things to keep in your back pocket here. One being, if you want to make the run to Oklahoma, you don't have to go across the dam face itself. You can just take this road here, right on here, and that'll get you back to the Oklahoma side. I'm going to kind of draw in closer. Okay, and then when you hear folks talk about the Texas wall, okay, this is this section here and this all here, and right now you probably see a lot of water flowing here since they're releasing. This is where they actually release water. The gates is what they call it. And if you go over there and they're releasing water, you can come up to the viewing area and you'll just see a ton of water flowing through here. Over here is the hydroelectric plant where they generate. When they generate power, this whole current flow will come through here. All right. And again, they made some changes. They dredged out some of these areas. So some of these rocks are gone now and cleared, and things have changed. The last time I was there, these pilings back here where the bait house used to be, that's still there. And there's still some deep sections here. And what I noticed is it'll still, as they generate water and whatnot, it will still get you a nice calm area back here where you have an opportunity to maybe do a little fishing and not worry about too much of the current. Bear with me, I'm having a little sip of some adult beverages here. Okay. When I was talking about having that license and fishing on the Texas side, so basically where the warning cable is, which usually runs about right here where this hand is moving, all the way down to the Shawnee Creek, which is this section here, and I'll pan out. This is the spillway proper, and when water overflows from Lake Texoma, it goes down this spillway, down Shawnee Creek, and comes out here. All right, so if you want to fish and you only have a Texas fishing license, freshwater fishing license, you are limited to this section here. Okay. Things have changed. Not too long ago, I think like 3-4 years ago, this whole section has some really bright lights now. So before you'd have to bring some kind of light so that you can fish at night. Now this thing is brightly lit, and you can pretty much fish this section here with no problem. Oklahoma side, I can't recall on the lighting structure, but just keep that in your back pocket right now, that there's some good lighting here and some good access when it comes to fishing the dam. Okay. On the Oklahoma side, there's a dirt area here where you'll see some folks typically launch boats, airboats, etc. There's a parking area up here, restrooms, and a little overlook. And when they aren't generating or releasing water, this is a good spot to catch a fish or two here. A lot of I think I've got some past videos where I throw a camera, underwater camera, throw it over here, and you'll just see hundreds of these stripers just kind of moving about and whatnot. Okay. All right. So that's the lay of the land. And when you're typically fishing this time of year, when they are when they're releasing water, you will typically see a fair amount of folks fishing along this section here on the Texas side, and then also over here on the Oklahoma side. And what I would say is, when you first arrive there, get a good feel as to how the pattern is working, and see what the old timers are using. Typically, it's some surf casting gear with slab and jig rigs, floating jig, different lures and whatnot. And the key there is make sure that you are following that pattern, because when you're fishing the tail race, you don't want to be that person who is going against the flow when it comes to the pattern. So you have these guys, you can tell they're the old timers, because a lot of times you'll see some of these guys with these really cool looking surf casting rigs that can cast a mile basically. And just watch how they work the area. They'll be casting up river, and then working their lure down river, and then bringing it back up, and they'll just be casting in succession without tangling. So if you're seeing this, you definitely don't want to try fishing bottom, especially I believe when they are releasing water. It's going to be very hard to fish bottom at this point. So that's one thing to keep in your back pocket here. Let's see. Let me talk of some lessons learned to keep in your back pocket while you're there. Okay, first lesson: tag your stringer when fishing a tail race in Oklahoma. Oklahoma side requires that you tag your stringer. Can't share stringers. Bring a heavy casting float and shad as backup. Keep fishing even after the shad is gone. Those stripers will still strike that fly. I've seen it before where I don't have any bait on there. It's basically a bare hook, and that striper is still popping away at it. Fish the current or bubble line where the fish are lurking. And a lot of times, especially when they are releasing water, you'll see that, you'll see the different currents and eddies and whatnot, and you just kind of want to work those seams and work those seams similar like if you were trout fishing. Okay. The other thing is, do stop at Dave's Ski and Tackle, or actually I don't know if it's called Dave's Ski and Tackle anymore. I think it's a new name, but basically it's the gas station right at 75 when you just get off at I think 69, 71, or 72, or 70, 71, or 72 exit. Go over there, stop at Dave's Ski and Tackle. They'll usually have a good amount of gear, and pay attention to some of the lures that they have over there. When it comes to the lure or fishing flies that you may be using, well, I typically fish it when they aren't generating or releasing water, and that allows me to do some good fly fishing opportunities, work in the pools and whatnot. But when they are generating or when they are releasing water, at that point you need to go and basically go with some heavier gear. Surf casting gear is the go-to piece. I've got a little video link that gives you some more information there, and it talks of, well, it's my favorite rig that I like using, but I also see some of the old timers out there doing so, also working some of these different things. All right, so let me take you to Google, and I'm going to take you down to the bank. So right here are some stairwells. It's fairly steep when you park There's a stairwell here, a stairwell over here, another one over here, and here, and then back further down, there's another set. Actually, it's not even a stairwell. It's more like a path, a dirt path. Okay, and when they're really generating, it's going to be really, really fast water here. Okay, there will be a couple of slack areas past these pilings back in here that may give you an opportunity to maybe fish bottom. And then as you are working this section here, what I normally will do is just pay attention to what is working when you get there. A lot of times you'll see them working different lures and whatnot. And well, let me just explain some of them for you. Okay, so let me grab it. Okay, there's several types of floats. This is a launcher float. Okay, and let's see. Bear with me. I'm just gonna get down to it here. Actually, no, I don't have one here. Yeah. Okay. All right. There's another float that you'll see. You can pick them up at Dave's Ski and Tackle. It's a heavier float. That's more like a cork shape, heavy weight. You'll see a lot of folks out there. I also have an old school tennis ball float that I used way back when I was in California fishing. Back then it was the Oceanside Pier. Haven't used it much over there at the tail race, but bottom line, you'll set up your floating jig rig, and you'll see these guys just cast upriver and let it swing with the current. And as they're doing so, you'll see this little action that they're giving it, where they're just kind of popping the lure, or not correction, their rod in a sharp action like this. And what's happening is it's causing the lure to move in, or correction, the cork to move in a jerky, erratic movement, and that fly is, or in this case, fluke, jig and fluke rig, is lingering behind. You could probably go 6 foot, depending on, as at least a starting point. Maybe extend it further as needed if you need to get it down, especially when that current's flowing like crazy. If the flow isn't as bad, you could probably go with a 4 foot leader. The other thing is when you set up your jig and fluke rig. Bear with me. Let me go grab one here. I'm just checking here real quick. There it is. Okay. All right, and right here, there's, for some reason, blue seems to be one that I like, and well, that the fish like too. And what I like doing with these is, I have a fluke on me, but this will be good enough to explain. All right. So this one has a little paddle tail on it. Okay, so this is the jig. This is I think it's a 1 ounce maybe. All right. Here's one that's a little bit bigger. Okay. What you do is you set up your jig, put a fluke on there, a plastic, in this case, paddle tail. All right. You can get these up at Dave's. All right. In some cases, when it's really, really rough or really, really a high current, you want to go with a 2 ounce. I mean, some heavy stuff out there. And then, in this case, I'm talking about the launcher float, but they also have the that cork one that you'll see. What you'll typically do is you'll attach it like so, and have your leader 6 foot, 8 foot, whatever, with the hook embedded, and then you cast it out, and when it hits the surface, it'll pop off, and you're able to still cast with that long leader. And what you do again is, it's that little popping retrieve. Here, let me go grab a rod. Okay, so this is the one that I like using. This is an Akuma Rockaway. It's a fairly light reel, but I've got some other ones that are bigger. But bottom line, you're going to be casting a lot, okay? So you set up your jig and fluke rig, and basically you're going to cast as far as you can up current and work your fly or jig in this case in that poppy motion. And you'll see them when you get to the tail race. You'll see these guys, and they've been doing it for years. They'll cast it out, and you'll just see this movement where they're just kind of doing this little shaky movement. All right, and that's causing the cork or float to move erratically in this little short move, and right behind it is that trailing jig and fluke rig, and that's eliciting a strike from the striped bass. Okay, so that's one method. Additionally, bear with me. Additionally, sometimes you need to get down deep, and I've had it before where I've got a little 1/4 ounce rig here or jig and fluke, and it's not enough to get it down where I need to. So the other thing that I like doing, and I think I have it in a link to it in the comments, is I'll set up this one rig. Let me grab it real quick. All right, bear with me. All right. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take a swivel, like so, okay, and right here, I'll attach a shock leader, about 50-pound test on this end going to my rod, and then I'll attach my leader, 6 foot, 10 foot, 17-pound, 15-pound test, your call. And this is where little jig fly or Clouser minnow in some cases, or in this case the jig and fluke rig, this will trail. And what I'll attach here is the float. And if I need to go up a float, a heavier float, I'll add it. If I need to go lighter, I can move it. It gives a little flexibility. And then on top of that, sometimes they're actually deeper, and that current is so fast that even a 1 or 2 or even 6 ounce weight, you're still able to cast it, and it's not going to hit the bottom and just flow with the river. And so I'll grab one of these guys. In this case, this is a 5-ounce torpedo sinker. And instead of the cork, I'll have this thing instead. Okay. And what that allows me to do is I can still get my fly, get my jig and fluke rig down to where the fish are lurking. And at the same time, I know if I keep adjusting right, I won't hit bottom, because there are typically a lot of rocks over there at the tail race. And if it turns out that they're further, or they're back up on the surface, because you'll start seeing them boiling on the surface and whatnot, I can quickly take that weight and replace it now with my cork. All right. So that's the key rig. You'll probably see a lot of folks out there using this jig and fluke rig. Okay, just some variation of it, but do pay attention there. And again, you can always attach it like so with that 10-foot, 8-foot leader, and not worry about being able to manipulate the cast so that you have this little jig hitting you in the head possibly. All right. You guys have any questions? Do ping me in the chat. I see funny dude. That's fascinating. All right, excellent. Fascinating. Nice. So let's talk some lures, okay? And let's grab this one. Okay, so You got to go with the water flow. If it's like crazy, then you adjust. But at times, I have used this one right here. Trusty old rattle trap. All right, magnum size. Okay, that's worked over the years. There's another variation of a rattle trap. I think this is made by Cotton Cordell. Okay, and then right here, your good old metal slabs. All right, you can do a slab and jig rig and cast it out there. That will work out well too. Playing it by ear, so it's good just to have an arsenal of gear ready to go and playing it by ear. So with the floating jig, sinker and jig rig, and a jig / paddle tail or fluke, you got that flexibility. And then if it turns out they want to hit on lures, you got those lures that you have in your arsenal. And then when they start popping on the surface, there's two that you'll see, especially the old timers that are out there just popping away, catching all kinds of stuff. Right here, you'll see them fishing two types of lures typically. There is your pencil popper, okay? And then let's see if I have it. Yeah, there it is. Your bomber, right? Those two are typically what you see a lot of these. Yeah, the old timers. I'm getting old, but there's some old timers out there that can definitely outfish anyone on any day, and you'll typically see them, that bomber lure or the pencil popper. And the thing about the pencil popper, okay, and this is one that I was able to pick up because I was out there fly fishing and someone lost it. If you look closely, they drilled a hole and they filled it with some more shot. Right? And they are able to cast this, a mile. I mean, it's incredible how far you can cast it, especially with one of those surf casting rigs, okay? They get it out there and they still do that same little twitchy move like they're doing a jig and fluke rig, but now it's with the pencil popper and it's causing this thing to shake and move about and wait for that big strike, okay? So you go and get your standard pencil popper off the shelf, and you find out, I'm getting an occasional hit there, a few hits are here and there, but I'm just not reaching out where there are. But these other guys are just popping them away. They're just tearing them up. Well, it's because right here's another one, classic red and white one, and look right there. Right, and this one I didn't buy. I ended up picking it up on one of the rocks when the water was low. Drill a hole, put a bunch of BB shot and whatnot in there, seal it, and this baby is much heavier, but still fishes just like a pencil popper. All right. I don't see that as much with the bombers. Okay. So here's that bomber lure. I've got several other ones in here. Here, I don't see much modifications to the bomber lure. So this is more of a closer cast. All right. Maybe go about a foot or two under the surface. Same little twitchy motion. And yeah, this one seems to be a good one too to have. So if given a choice, I would have a bomber set of lures, pencil poppers, weighted, add some weight to it. And then additionally, I'd have some rattle traps. Everything hits a rattle trap, All right. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. And I see some other folks have joined. So let me just call out again a couple of things. One is, again, you got to tag your stringer. 2, you got to have a Texas fishing license if you're fishing onshore between the warning cable to Shawnee Creek. And if you're getting in the water or fishing the Oklahoma side, you will need an Oklahoma fishing license. And the Lake Texoma license does not apply to the tail race section. All right. Let's see. Orion's Descendant. Hey, how's it going? I see you just joined. All right. Excellent. Just answering the mail. Had a question about fishing Denison Dam. And I'm hoping to answer some of the questions that were posed at me, or I'm guessing what they may be asking. Okay, so far I've talked about using a floating jig rig, making the adjustment, replacing the float. Right, here's the swivel. Line going to your rod, line going to your lure. Use the clip to put the float, or switch it out with a heavier or lighter float, or switch it out with a heavy sinker. Just play it by ear. Based on how they're biting. And speaking of beer, let's have a little sip. All right. Also talking of lures, got the bomber lure, the pencil popper, as well as rattle traps. And then again with the pencil popper, make sure that you take into account that when you're out there and you're seeing these old timers just yanking away, cranking these lures way further than what you're able to, there's a good likelihood that they've weighted those pencil poppers. Drill the hole and add a few more weight with some shot. All right, let me get this out of the way. Okay. And okay, for gear, I've gone, when I have an affinity for the Abu Garcia round reels, and specifically there's a couple of C3s that my son and I used to fish out there, using some surf casting gear, and we used that for the longest time. And what was nice about it is I was able to cast all day and not get tired. I did shift over to some heavier surf casting gear. Let's see, right up there. And you can see I've got them on the wall now because I don't use them as much. I tend to use the new school thinner size. So it's got a smaller handle, thinner handle, two-handed capability. This is a 12-footer. I've caught some gar with this one. And what's nice about this is you're going to be doing a lot of casting if you're fishing the tail race when they're generating. And being able to cast a balanced as well as light rod that can still handle your larger fish, well, it's good to have in your back pocket. I love the pencil corks for brim. They do not splash or scare as much as the ball-shaped corks. Oh, cool. All right, so you're getting into the water, even just to wade. You need the Texas and Oklahoma fish. You need the Oklahoma fishing license if you're getting in the water. If you don't get in the water and you stay between the cable and Shawnee Creek, then you just need the Texas fishing license. If you go past Shawnee Creek, you also need an Oklahoma fishing license. And I'll go and show you here on Google what I'm talking about when I say Shawnee Creek. Okay, let me go in. So there's a warning cable that you'll see right over here. And basically you can't fish that or go past that area closer to the dam. And as long as you stay on the shore all the way down to what's called Shawnee Creek right here, then you can use a Texas fishing license. You get in the water or you go past Shawnee Creek, Oklahoma fishing license. And I'll scan back so you get a good idea what I mean by Shawnee Creek. Dam's over here, or the power plant's over here. Shawnee Creek, mouth of Shawnee Creek is right here. Here's the spillway. It'll come down and come out Shawnee Creek. This is the section here. All right. So yeah, if you get in the water, be prepared to show your Oklahoma fishing license. Over the years, I've seen it several times where Oklahoma game warden, as well as Texas game wardens, are kind of watching things. Let's see. And then definitely have to have an Oklahoma fishing license if you fish the Oklahoma side. Let's see. Any other questions you might have? Okay. All right. And then again, the Texoma license, the one that allows you to fish Lake Texoma, the actual lake itself, it does not apply to the tail race. All right. And then when you go to the Oklahoma side, if you're fishing the Oklahoma side, you'll see a sign that they post. Let me see if I can show you. In their parking area on the Oklahoma side. here. Okay, this is the parking area. There's a little bathroom thing here. You can fish over this overlook when it's not too bad. Right here is going to be a sign. Those are two shelters. There's a sign here that gives you some specific regulations to the tail race. Okay, so take a look at that and keep that in your back pocket. One of the newest things now is there are some invasive species that have come to the area, and they just kind of show you some pictures as well as call out that if you do catch them, I think you're supposed to basically just you can't release them alive. You gotta euthanize them, I guess. I mean, take a look at it. I keep forgetting, but bottom line, they give you some good pictures and whatnot of what to anticipate when it comes to some of these invasive species that are starting to show in the area. All right. Any other questions? Other than that, let me take you to a video from way back. Okay, this is back when they weren't generating. I think this is about the winter time frame. I'm going to run that video and just explain a few things, and maybe that might you might have a question or something pop up once you see it. So once you see something. So let me go ahead and run it.
Not sure where we're going to fish today, so I'm just going to play it by ear. I may try the Oklahoma
come over here
side.
To the tail race.
Oklahoma license.
Ran over to the Oklahoma side.
Let's go check it out
and,
here.
Well, I'm just explaining what I'm seeing, taking a look and whatnot. They're not generating. It's cold still.
Just going to check it out.
This is more of the winter time frame.
All right,
and
there it
is.
is.
They haven't started generating. This is on the Oklahoma side now that I'm taking a look at, or that I'm showing you. Oh, guess what?
Chilly.
There's that sign.
Degrees,
okay.
So.
And that's, I think this is the trick that I learned, that, hey, you got to have a stringer now.
Special restrictions here. Oh, yeah. So got to keep that in mind.
There's some details. There's also the grid coordinates as well as where you can fish with Texas versus Oklahoma fishing license. Right, there's the overlook, and right now, since you're releasing, the gates are open. This whole area, this is maybe even closed off because the water is just flowing through these gates right now.
It's like there's some water movement here.
They're not generating.
Down that way.
When they're releasing, this whole area is just a
let's go bundle up and then
water
give it a shot here.
Raging
We're going to start out here on the Oklahoma side, and
all right,
big casting gear in this case.
I was just kind of working the area, just kind of see. This is a
and maybe later on we may try in the river itself.
And what I did was I put a I think it was a Clouser minnow.
All right, here we are. Let's see what happens. Didn't get anything over there, but we saw some movement over there by the wall. So, someone just got one over there.
And you want to keep a heavy float.
All right.
Have that ready.
So they're here. Right. Just got to use bait.
And again, this is the Oklahoma side.
Let's go look over here and see if we can find something.
Okay, so the plan was to do some switch rod fly fishing, but instead we
fly rig. Tip with
some of the smaller
fly
stuff that's out there.
Pick up. So
when
only brought my fly
they're
rod,
not generating and things kind of die down, especially the.
Good thing I had this in the backup. And luckily, Dave's ski and tackle had the material I needed, which was some more shad and some weights.
This formerly Dave's ski
big
and tackle.
floats.
That's where I mentioned. But typically,
getting hit right now.
Bait, shad. You should be able.
And what's nice is when the bait comes off, you have an opportunity to get them on the fly also.
Generating is a good spot to try. When they are generating, it's time to go pull out.
And so far, we've got one keeper.
Fluke rigs and the casting gear, and
I think we got a little fish that hit it. Little striped bass on the little fly that we're using.
Some more stuff
and a little
going here.
Without working perfect on this float and jig rig or float and fly rig.
Threw it in the water.
So it's working. We're able to fish flies without a fly rod, especially up here. This is pretty high up over here at the Oklahoma side of the Oklahoma wall at Denison Dam. All right, let's let this guy go. Finish lunch.
New crop.
Okay, here is one. We're going to let this one go. We've been keeping some of these, but we've got 3 right now in the bag. And we're going to get picky now. Been catching a lot of these little guys on the Bennett's lunch.
Right now I'm calling it combat fishing because you're just
and then we'll put shad on there. When the shad goes away, they still hit it. So that's good news. All right, this one went for the Bennett's lunch.
Okay.
It's
all right. this is mainly just working that.
Let's see what happens.
And then just.
All right, let's see what this guy's doing.
Let me take you to the other video. Here is where I'm talking about that rig that I was using. Okay. All right, so there's the swivel. I've attached a 50-pound shock leader that goes to my rod, and at the same time I've attached a hook in this case to the other side where I'll be baiting it. But you just replace the hook with the jig and fly or jig and fluke rig, and you should be good to go. All right. All right, and again, if you have any questions, just pop me in the chat, and I'll read it and answer. All right. Let's see. Again, just describing that float and jig rig. And the key takeaway being, you can always swap out your float with a heavier float as well as a weight, depending on conditions. You should be able to do so because you're using the clip section to hold the sinker or to hold the float. The actual swivel metal portion is where you're attaching your line. Okay. All right, let me just kind of flip through here, see if there's anything else. Yeah, this is where I'm just showing how you can swap out the rig to use a sinker in lieu of the float. Okay. All right. And I like using the launcher float. It looks like a little torpedo looking thing, but you can also pick up the excuse me, the balsa looking round bobber looking ones that you'll see some other folks out there using. Okay, hopefully that answered the mail on fishing Denison Dam. Typically when they aren't releasing water, I'll use the generation schedule to determine when I want to fish the area. And let's see if I can find it. I think I posted how to read the generation schedule years ago, and they made some changes to it. And what I just want to show is, let's see. What I want to just see is to see what the current conditions are. So let me go to it real quick. Here we go. And all right, let's see if I can view this. Let's go back. All right, and let me see if I can share this. Okay, here we go. Might be a little tough to read it, but let me pop it over. Okay. Bear with me, I'm just kind of moving things over to see if I can get it to show better for you. There, let me fix that real quick. Okay, and what this is just how to read the tail race and get an idea what those conditions are. Because they got the gates all open right now, it's pretty much a free-for-all with lots of water flow. But what this does is allow you to, let me put that in the chat also, in case anyone wants to go directly to it. Okay, let's go click on hydropower operations. Okay, and let's just take a look at what's happening right now. Okay, so they got both turbines online. Okay. Well, you don't see it too well. Let me adjust this again. Okay. All right, they got both turbines online right here, 2 and 2. All right, so they are generating. Let's see, as of 2000, they haven't posted the information here, but at 1945, so 7:45, they've got about 11,500 right here, 11,500 CFS, cubic feet per second. So basically there's a lot of water flow just on generating power. Okay, and you can see it's fairly good. All right. The other thing is, let's go and dig down a little bit further and grab this other one here. Okay, so this one, and okay, so overall they actually have 12,600 cubic feet per second being generated. Okay, looking down below, there was a gate change. So as of Monday, May 20, looks like they closed the gates. Nice. Okay, so they're just generating water flow right now instead of releasing. So good news there is, with about 12,600 plus cubic feet per second. Let's go back to Google. And this is just lesson learned from over the years and how I remember it. Okay. With that amount of generation, water should come up, not up to the stairwells, but about midway. So from this picture here, where you can see my hand, here's a stairwell. Water is going to be about right here. All right, and it's going to be flowing pretty good. On this side, this section will be underwater. Okay. And then this section back here should have some water flow, but you'll have like a little calmer area here. So if you want to try fishing bottom, you might have a good opportunity here. This is the Oklahoma side. And then if you cut over here to this one back area where you can park, and then kind of walk down this way to this little rocky point where all the pilings are. There'll be some pilings back here, and there'll be some wooden pilings back here. This section back here on the Oklahoma side, you'll see some water flow, but you'll definitely see some calmer areas where you have a good opportunity if you want to fish bait to fish that area as well. You can still cast out further and see what's out here, but that might be a place to set up if you want. Okay. And then over here on the Texas side, let's go right here. Okay, right down here, this little point area, it shouldn't be underwater at 12,000. You still should be able to locate about here and still fish out in this area. Water flow is still going to be pretty strong, but the opportunity to fish it and get a strike or two is still there. Okay, so all right. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut the stream down. This is more of an impromptu Q&A session. Do check back. I do have another rebroadcast of, rebroadcast of where I was using the nail knot tool and showing how I made a loop-to-loop connection and some fly fishing tips there. I'm going to rebroadcast that one here in the next few. Additionally, I'll be doing probably another mobile fishing live stream out and about and whatnot, along with, there's some other thing. It's kayak fishing time. So hopefully tomorrow, I might be able to get some video of yours truly doing some jug line fishing here at the local lake, maybe catching some catfish or two, because, well, I finally replaced my old pickup. It got totaled. Luckily, no one was hurt. And it's an old 96 Tacoma with about 290,000 miles on it. And I just replaced it with a 2024 Tacoma. And so I'm back in mobile, able to throw my kayak in the back of the truck, and I'm hoping that I might be able to get you some good information concerning jug line fishing and catching some catfish. All right, let's see. I've got to save this video. Thanks for breaking down where we can fish and what to use. All right, excellent. Thanks for joining, Mark. If you have any other follow-up questions, just ping me. I'll definitely get out there. Oh yeah, got a new taco. Yes, I did. It's a 2024. The 96 Tacoma was totaled while I was in my living room watching TV. Yeah. And it was still getting 30 miles to the gallon. I got some video on that. I'm going to do a tribute video on it. But anyways, yeah, do check back. I will definitely, hopefully by tomorrow I'll have some catfish because, well, didn't pick up anything at the grocery store. So, hey, basically it's a catch and cook I'm going for. All right. Oh, bummer. Your Jeep got hit on New Year's Day by a boat. Whoa, by a boat. That's interesting. Oh, it came loose and the trailer came. Oh, bummer. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see if I can do this on my phone to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Let's see. Okay. No, not that one. Okay. Well, I may have that little tribute video. Won't you? It's still a work in progress. I got to put some music and whatnot to it, but let me show that to you. Sort of a early showing of the vehicle. So here, I'll do it from the phone. Okay. Or actually, I wonder if I could go ahead and post it. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's try this. All right, you see that? Okay, I'm going to hit the button. Here it is, 290,000. I don't know. Okay, you can kind of see it. There we go. Yep. There we go. That's where I lost my truck. Tragedy! But I got a new truck now. And we'll start the new taco era. It's all fixed now. Just was dead in scratch. Oh, excellent. Yeah. Yeah. I've been sweating things now that we've got all these hailstorms and tornadoes and whatnot. I've been sweating it. But, okay. All right. All for now. Thanks for joining. Next time, we'll catch y'all later. Good luck and good fishing.